What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to Aikman TV. In this video, I'm going to be sharing details of all the required documents, the documents you need if you want to travel to Australia on a student visa, and I'm also going to be giving details on the cost of each document so that you can at least have a budget, like you can know what it costs and the documents you need if you are planning to come to Australia, especially on a student visa, because that's the one I have experience in. So it will make more sense if I talk about that one. There are also other parts, but let me focus on the student visa for today. So sit back and enjoy. Welcome back to my channel, guys. So the first document I'm going to be talking about is the international passport. Of course, if you are planning on traveling, it's a very important document. You need to have your international passport, and that goes for, I think, 45,000 2023 rates. It should be 45 to 50,000 unless you are planning on making it faster, like the one we call express. Then you have to budget like 75 80,000 naira. But let's stick with the official rate, which is 45,000 naira for this calculation. So we have 45,000 naira first. The second document you'll be needing is a detailed CV. You need to provide a detailed CV about yourself, about your addresses where you've lived, about the schools you've attended, the degrees you have. Like if you're coming for a master's degree, you have to provide details on the what you graduated with, your bachelor's, stuff like that. When you go online, you're gonna see formats of how to write a very a nice CV. So you need that because it's gonna be required when you want to submit your application for the visa. Now that one doesn't cost any amount, so we are just gonna put 0 there. So the next thing you need is you need to be admitted into a university in Australia. Yes, you need to get admitted into one of the universities. It's very, very important, because if you are coming on a student visa, you need to provide evidence that you're actually coming to study. So if you don't have evidence, or like you've been admitted to a university, it's actually not advisable to apply for a student visa. So that is why you need to have evidence that you've been admitted into a university. So don't forget, this could either be that you've got a scholarship or it's a self-funded program. So whichever one it is, you just have to provide evidence. And I'm going to digress a little so that I'll talk about the documents you need when you are applying for a school or a university in Australia, because I've been getting this question a lot. So what you just need to do, just go to Google, type universities in Australia. You're going to see a whole lot of universities. So you decide the city you prefer, or the state you prefer. I think there are 6 states here. You want to go to Western Australia, you want to come to Eastern, wherever. You just find universities in the area you want to go. Then you click the website. You're going to see the international students application process stuff. You look at it and read the processes involved. So most of them will require these documents. If you are coming for a postgraduate study, which is usually what most people do, you're going to need to provide the CV. I talked about it. You're also going to need to provide your transcript, your academic transcript from your university in Nigeria. So you just need to have that. Anyhow, you just need to have your transcript at hand, because if you go to tell your university to send a transcript to them, it might take time and everything. So you need to have your transcript. Then another document you're going to need is the English test. So from my experience, I've noticed that some universities in Australia are really persistent about the English test, especially if you're coming from maybe Africa, Asia. They really need the English test. And some may waive it if you can just provide a document showing that you studied in English, but some really need you to write that English test. So that is why it's important for you to do this research on your own. You go to the university and check what they need. So if they say you have to do this, so you know you need the English test. Another thing that is required is a recommendation letter. Yeah, most times it's usually 2. So you need someone in the academics preferably to recommend you, maybe your supervisor, or maybe one of the lecturers in your university, someone who will write good things about you actually. So you need the person to give you a very good recommendation letter, and it should be on the letter heading of the school. And guys, this is actually very funny. You don't need someone that will write that will not write good things about you. You don't need someone that will just maybe write, oh, blah, he's an average student. No, you don't need that. You need someone who will be like, oh, yeah, he's an exceptional student. He's this and that. Of course, you have to be exceptional. We all are exceptional. So you need that kind of recommendation because, of course, that's what every other person is coming with. So you need a very good recommendation letter. So I think that should be 2. And preferably from people who are in the academics, like your lecturers, your supervisors, your professors, stuff like that. Then another thing is you need an email from a supervisor in your university showing willingness that he has agreed to supervise you. Now, this goes a very long way, especially if you are applying for a PhD. You need to reach out to the professors one-on-one first. Then you tell the person about what you can do, just talk about your skills, how you can, contribute to maybe ongoing research, or just talk about yourself. Boost yourself, just talk about yourself, what you can do. I mean, when you are talking to the professor you want to supervise you, so when the person agrees to supervise you, he's going to give you a letter, and that will be required of you when you are making the application to the university. Now, mind you, this is not the case most times, because when you are going for a master's, I don't think you need to do this. But if you are going for a PhD, you need to get, most universities actually require that you meet someone who will agree to supervise your work first before you can apply to them. If you don't get that and you apply, they're going to throw you back and tell you, please go get this first. So another stuff you may need for PhDs, you're going to need your proposal, your research proposal. Yeah. So this is something that you have to work on with the supervisor you are contacting. So it's very, very important to have a research proposal. It may not be perfect. Trust me, it may not be perfect. In fact, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's something you just thought about. So when you pitch it to the professor you are coming to, the person can be like, oh, let's change it, let's do this instead. The person will give you ideas, and then you can rewrite it, and that's the one you are not going to submit to the school. So you need to already do this with your supervisor. Now, how do you find these supervisors? Just go to the school website. You're going to see a place where they write staff directory. So just click on the staff directory, and then you are going to see a list of all the staff in that university. It's usually open to everyone. So you see their email, you see their contacts. So it's usually advisable you copy the email and send them emails directly. And this is a little secret, guys. It's always better if you have an institution email. Let's say your university gave you an institution email. It's usually better if you are sending a message to someone, maybe a professor, using another institution email, because if you just use Gmail, most of these emails just go to their spam folders. They won't even see it, and then the person won't reply to you because, of course, he hasn't even seen your email. So another important document you need is your bachelor's degree. Of course, you need your statement of results, or maybe the degree itself, the certificate for bachelor's. That's for those coming for masters, and if you're coming for PhD, you need for both the bachelor's and the master's degree. Now, another document you need is the personal statement. You have to talk about maybe why you want to study in the particular university, why you want to do a particular course. Just hype yourself now. Just talk about yourself. Just write a little bit about yourself. So now, these whole things I mentioned are just documents you need to apply to a particular university, and these things you can actually do it on your own. Where the agent comes in is when the university mandates you to go through an agent, but most universities don't actually, because before coming here I applied to quite a number of universities. And for example, I can tell you that University of Southern Queensland, you don't need an agent to apply there. You can apply directly. I actually got admitted to University of Southern Queensland. It's just that I didn't go there, but I didn't have to pay any agent. University of New South Wales, you don't still need an agent. The Charles Darwin University, you don't still need an agent. So these universities, you don't need any agent. You just apply straight, and they're going to give you admission, and that's just it. So you don't need an agent. So unless you are coming to a place like Griffith mandates that you must go through an agent. I don't know why they do that, but that is when you have to contact an agent. Okay, yeah, that was the third document I mentioned. That is that you have to be admitted into an Australian university. And I'm going to just put there 0 because, of course, these things, there are no specific costs for you to get these documents. Your bachelor's, you got it yourself. Sending emails, you can do those things yourself. So there is no specific cost for doing this. So it's just going to be 0. So the next thing is the confirmation of enrollment Yeah, this is actually the tricky part. Um, Before you receive your confirmation of enrollment, you will have to pay your school fees first. And if you're coming for a master's program, it's usually, let's say, give or take $16,000. And for a PhD, it's around $19,000. And be mindful that this can like change based on the particular program you are doing. If you are doing a STEM program, it may be higher, slightly higher, and if you are doing maybe like business, finance, stuff like this, it can be lower. So before you can be given a COE, you must pay for your school fees. And I think, yeah, but if you're on scholarship, you don't have to pay. Of course, you're on scholarship, so you can just be giving your COE without paying. So the COE is a document from the Ministry of Education under the Australian government, which validates that you have been, like, you have met the minimum requirements of studying in the university, like paying your school fees. And another thing that you also have to do before you will receive the COE is in the next point I'm going to make. So let's take it that most people are applying for masters, so I'm going to add $16,000 to our total so that we are going to have this. Yeah. Now the next thing is your health insurance. Now before you are given this confirmation of enrollment, you must pay for the health insurance because Australia has a very strict policy on health. It's actually very expensive here to pay upfront for health medical attention. So that is why they mandate everybody coming here, especially international students, to have medical insurance. So like if you are a singleton like me, you are coming single, you don't have a wife or you don't have children, then what you have to pay is $3,600. That is what you have to pay. So the exchange rate currently is around 500 naira. So when you say 3,600 times 500, boom, that's what you're going to be paying in naira. That's if you are coming as a singleton. Now, if you have a wife or you are a woman, you have a husband, the rate for coming is, sorry, I have to make reference so that I won't make a mistake. The rate for coming for dual is 12,635. These are the different categories for the health insurance. We have the single, we have the dual, and then we have the multi. The single is for single people. The dual is for maybe man and wife, or woman and husband, man and child, just two people. And then the multi is for like maybe the full family package. So dual is $12,635. So if you want to know what is in naira, multiply by 500, that's it. So now if you are coming with your family, your full family, you just want to come with everybody, which is usually very, very expensive, man. It goes for $19,511. So multiply by 500, you're gonna see what it costs. Now that is why it's actually advisable to have a scholarship before coming, because if you are on a fully funded scholarship, the scholarship pays for 70% of all these amounts. So if you are on a scholarship, you maybe you are a single person and you are required to pay 3,600, the scholarship pays for 70% of that, so you are left with 1,200 and something else. So yeah, that's what you now have to pay, since the scholarship has already covered it. Now why you have to pay is because if you are given a visa, let's say a student visa for a PhD program, which is for like 5 years, your program is going to last for maybe 3 years or 3.5 years. So the scholarship will only pay for the 3 years or 3.5 years that the program will last, whereas you now have additional years where you have to pay. That is why you have to pay. The scholarship doesn't pay for, unless the study is going to take 5 years. That's your visa period, which is not usually the case. After the study, there is always a little time in the visa, so that you can be able to maybe do other things, maybe the marking, the processing of your results and stuff like that. So that is why you have to pay. So, but if you are self-funded, this is the amount you are going to be paying. For single, $3,600. For dual, is $12,635, and for multi is $19,511. Now, the next thing you need is what we call the form 1221. This form is something that you need to complete. Of course, when you are given admission, the university will tell you download this form from the immigration website. You fill it. It's just for you to write your name, next of kin, your phone number, whether you've had any visa refusals, the reasons, where you will be coming from, what you'll be doing, how you will fund your program. So these are things you need to provide in the form 1221. And it's important you do these things before applying, because if you don't do it, it's going to delay the application. So you do download the form 1221. It's not difficult. Just go to immigration website and type. In fact, don't even just type form 1221 on Google and just say maybe Australian immigration. You're going to see the form and to show you how to download it. It's very, very simple. You can do this yourself. You don't need anybody to help you. The next thing you are going to need is the genuine temporary entrance, and this talks about like, just tell them you are a genuine person coming, let them know. And this is actually a very important document. Although when I wrote my own, I remember the day I wrote the thing, it was like 10 p.m. that time. I was in Nigeria, like I was tired, I wanted to sleep. So I was like, oh, this thing, let me just write it. I will read what I wrote, guys. So I'm just trying to show you that it doesn't have to be extensive. It doesn't have to be like maybe right, so have a particular format. No, let me just read what I wrote in my GTE. Yeah, so in my GTE, what I actually wrote is very funny. I said, I declare that I genuinely wish to study in Australia temporarily for the purpose of my PhD. I'm a citizen and resident of Nigeria. I do not possess an immigration record, as I've never left Nigeria before. I have never been involved in crime and do not possess a criminal record. I have not had any visa cancelled. I'm not a minor. I'm in perfect health. I will abide by the Australian laws during my stay. Thank you. During my stay in Australia. Thank you, Ikechukwu. That's just what I wrote. I mean, it was after I submitted, I started seeing, when I went on YouTube, I saw format to write a GT. I was like, what is this? I went there, I saw people bringing out different formats. I was like, oh my God, what the hell did I do? Because this thing is not even up to half page, what I just wrote. I said, because I was just like, of course I'm genuine now, am I a robot? So I just had to provide these things. So, and it went through. So I'm just trying to say this: if you're writing a GT, it doesn't have to be like follow a particular format or something. Just provide the details, like this stuff I read. Just provide the details, things they need, then you're good to go. So the total amount of what you need to come to Australia as a single person is this. When you have all these documents, you can now go to the immigration website and do this process yourself. Like, you're going to fill all the forms yourself, because you have everything. So this is the part 1 of this video. I'm going to do a part 2, and in the part 2 I'm going to be talking about applying. Actually, when you're applying for the visa under the immigration, of course you'll be asked to do your medicals, your biometric stuff like that. So I'm also going to be providing the cost of all these things individually, so that you can have a sum total of the amount you need to travel to Australia on a student visa, of course. Yeah, so thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like, and comment. I'll see you guys in the part 2 of this video. Bye bye.